Hey, my loves, it's me, Keisha, aka Color Me Pynk, and I'm here with this week's All Tea, All Shade, Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 7 Reunion Part 2. I drop videos Monday through Sunday. Everything that I say is for entertainment purposes only, and not to be taken seriously or literally. So if that works for you, then let's get into tonight's review. But before I begin, I want to give a public service announcement to all of you weirdos out there that take reality shows and the reality stars way too seriously. I'm going to state my opinions on what I see. You do not have to agree with me, but you will not come for me for my opinions on said reality show. Please, if you comment in the comment section, state your business about what you think about said reality show, not whether or not you agree or disagree with what I got to say. It don't matter at the end of the day, okay? Remember, the block is hot. The block is hot. I ain't got no problem blocking you. All right, now let's get into it. So the reunion begins where last week's episode left off with Wendy stating to Hoselle that it has now become a clear pattern with people's husbands where you have a problem coincidentally when the cameras start rolling. And Candiace co-signs this. And she was like, instead of talking about her uterus and what's happening with her personal life, she uses this show to lie on people because you have nothing else going on. Your dwindling uterus was waiting for you to put it on TV as a storyline. Baby, that's one of the best reads, that line right there, that I've ever heard. That goes up there in my ranking. When Candiace said your dwindling uterus was waiting for you to put it on TV as a storyline. Baby. The disrespect from somebody who has had a partial hysterectomy. Me and my uterus was offended, okay? So I know Gizelle was, honey, considering the fact that she had complications with her surgery and Candiace could give a good God diggity dang on, okay? That was hilarious. I think Gizelle curls fell even more after that read, honey, because Candiace gathered them edges real quick. She also goes on to say that Chris made her feel uncomfortable and that they're arguing semantics at this point. And she even goes on to tell Candiace that she feels like she was the one that made this a bigger issue than what it actually was. And it's like, Gizelle, everybody sees you for your works at this point. You're not pulling the wool over nobody's eyes. Everybody is on to your game plan going into these seasons. Now, next season, you have to come up with something totally different and new to keep your spot on this show, because you can't go with the husband crap anymore, because it's just simply not going to work. Next season, you're actually going to have to show your life, because even Andy now has been awakened to the fact that you have had no storyline for the last few seasons. Mia then jumps in and was like, you did, to Candiace. And Candiace was like, you had 6 months to bring this to me. You waited to use an audience of millions of people to make my husband look like a predator. And here go Mia, no. And Candiace was like, shut up. And I was glad that she told her to hush, because A, this ain't got nothing to do with you. And now that you a part of the Green Eye Bandits crew, a part of the light skins, now you over here caping for Gizelle. She don't even like you either, girl. Like, you over here drinking this clam chowder soup, honey, and you're dispensable as well. I'm pretty sure next season it'll be you and G on her chopping block. She gonna say that G did something to her while you're sitting up here trying to act like you just buddies with Gizelle all of a sudden. Girl, be quiet. Then Andy says, production showed when Chris allegedly flirted with your friend Ashley. What did you think when you saw the footage? And Ashley was like, it didn't align with what Deborah said, but she stands by everything that she said. Girl, at this point, you need to be like, my friend lied. She lied, obviously this man didn't do nothing. I am 100% sorry for even bringing this up. She was wrong. She bamboozled me. She led me astray. She ran amok, okay? And I apologize. How hard it is for you ladies to admit when you're wrong. At this point, Deborah is a liar, and you just should have said that. Andy then brings up Candiace's IG rant that Robin called her self-exposing during the Miami trip. And Robin was like, I was in my feelings for how Candiace was treating me. And Candiace was like, if I'd heard you say something like that, I would automatically think she's not talking about me. Let me go to her and find out what's the beef. Then you tried to shame me in front of the group, and I wasn't ashamed or at all. You made yourself look stupid. And Robin was like, when we're filming, everything we do should happen on camera. And oh, how her words keep on coming back to bite her in the behind, because they then do a flash forward to her sit down with Andy. And Andy said, I heard from Candiace today. She's really hurt and betrayed by you. And Robin says, well, what does what I'm going through or what I share have to do with her and Chris? And Andy was like, I think it's what you didn't share, love. Like, you are such a hypocrite. Such a hypocrite. And she needs to be demoted next season. She honestly needs to be demoted as friend, and she needs to take a pay cut. Because if you're not going to give us what we're paying for, darling, then you don't need to get the full salary, okay? You need to get part-time wages with no benefits, all right? Wendy admits to Candiace that she felt away when Candiace said that Robin was the most loyal to her. And child, we all felt a way about when she said that she felt like Robin was the most loyal to her and that she looked up to Robin. And once again, I'm bamboozled about what in the world Candiace looks up to Robin for. Maybe it's workout tips. Maybe she wants her secret recipe for the protein shakes that she drinks every month before she hits the treadmill and the weights. Maybe it's she looks up to Robin because of her huge broad shoulders that remind me of Roman Reigns. Maybe it's the fact that she's aging like skim milk. I don't know what in the world she looks up to Robin for, but God bless her. Joselle's segment comes up and Andy says to her, it seems like there's a lot you don't want to talk about, but you seem to have an expectation from everybody else. And she was like, I've talked about it on camera. I'm not going to sit with people I don't like, and points at Wendy, and talk about my health issues. And Candiace was like, you bully people. And Mia even jumps in, was like, you do. Is this what cancer looks like? And it's just like, Gizelle, you sit up here and lie out the side of your wrinkly, wobbly neck. You and your earthworm neck. You sit up here and lie because you do expect for the other women to share their lives and expose their deepest, darkest secrets and what they have going on. Meanwhile, you have been skating on thin ice all of these years with giving us absolutely nothing but fried, dyed, and laid to the side dry hair, horrible wigs, horrible fashion, and a gaudy home, and the 3 kids that we still don't know their names. I call them Daffodil, Delilah, and Daisy, child. That is all you have given us. And Jamal, Ninja Turtle looking self, Sherman looking like a fried piece of pork sausage. That is all you have given us over the years. That is it. We don't know nothing else about you except for the fact that you had a failing cosmetic line or a horrible autobiography book that you tried to play off like it was a fiction novel when really it was a pamphlet. We know nothing about you, love. So stop. Wendy's segment is up next, and Andy says to Mia about, the Peter and Wendy situation. He was like, it seems like you were trying to make whatever was going on with Peter and Wendy more than what it was. Exactly. And Wendy was like, you assaulted me. And Mia was like, okay, do you want to talk about the fact that you boinked Peter? And Wendy was like, you just saying that because you want to. Like, girl, get out of here. And Mia was like, she had dinner with him before filming and they had a whole entree and I heard all about it. And Candiace was like, from who? And Mia was like, I saw the footage. And Wendy was like, girl, you F for lobster. And Mia was like, I'm not denying it. Girl, if you gonna be having sex with people for food, at least let it be some Kobe beef, some caviar, some truffles, something of high value, honey. Like lobster, girl, really, girl. And I don't bit more believe Mia saying that girl had relations with Peter. Ooh, because she had dinner with him before filming starts. Ooh, what does that mean? Like, Mia just need to stop pulling stuff out of her botched butt and acting like it's true. Like, you just can't say whatever comes to your brain, that pea brain of yours, and throw it out there to the world like it's facts. Like, that's not cool. Andy then says, Robin, you kept calling Wendy antagonistic. How was she being antagonistic after having a drink thrown in her face? And Robin was like, I really didn't want to see her fight on television. That's not what you originally said when you was asked about it. You said you didn't like her and you didn't care. The exact same thing that Gizelle said in tonight's episode. At least I can give it to Gizelle that she kept it a buck and then try to switch it up like you are now. So Wendy rebutted and was like, the only person in which you spoke to was the person who was attacked. And then here go Roberto talking about I understood her frustrations though. You and I were not friends. I felt like Karen would have been the perfect person to tell y'all to cut it out. And Karen was like, girl, why are you dragging me into this BS? This ain't got nothing to do with me. You were the one that was, gaslighting and throwing gas on the fire to get them to fight. Like, the fact that you trying to reel Karen into this like she did something wrong is absolutely absurd. And that's why nobody can stand Roberto. Andy then brings up the fact that Charisse did have to hold her back when Wendy and Roberto had that argument early on in the season. And Roberto still is deflecting, acting like she didn't have to be held back. It's like, I wish that Andy would be like, with these housewives, when they just be blatantly lying, be like, come on, son. Come on, son. Like, just tell the truth. Like, we saw it on, like, come on. Like, you're not going to sit up here and play in my face and lie to me. Like, that's what you're not going to do. Like, it needs to be some type of fine or something when you just sit up here and blatantly lie. So, Andy then says to Ashley, you flip-flopped on your stance against violence this season. And Ashley was like, everyone came to Candiace's defense as they should have with the Monique situation. And here go Candiace. And you wanted to be a hero. And Ashley was like, no one came to Wendy's defense when she was the person who had been violated and no one was holding Mia's feet to the fire for her actions. Everybody came for Monique saying she was a misrepresentation of black women. And here go Candiace. And she was. And see, just when I start to have some type of grace for Candiace, she reminds me of why I don't see it for her. Because it's how many years later and you still bitter Betty Boop, honey. You are still pressed over the situation. You have still yet to take acknowledgement and ownership of your part in that whole altercation. It wasn't just Monique who was the person that was in the wrong. Both of you were. Both of you were. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of her trying to play the martyr and the victim in this situation and her saying slick stuff out her mouth every 5 seconds. Because once again, you clearly have not learned anything. And for you weirdos in the comment section, I don't give a rat's behind whether you are Team Candiace, Team Monique. These are my feelings and my opinions on my channel. You do not have to agree with me, weirdos, okay? Okay, you could be Team Candiace, Team Monique, whoever you want. I'm Team Jesus and my Google AdSense paycheck. All right, so let's not do that, okay? Because y'all get on my nerves with that crazy psycho fan crap. Ugh. Anywho, so I agreed with Ashley because it wasn't that she flip-flopped on her stance. It's the fact that nobody did have Monique's back in that situation. Nobody did come to her aid. Everybody excluded her except for Ashley and Karen. And at least she had grace enough to try to be there for Wendy when Wendy did not show Monique the same grace. That's why I can't feel sorry for Monique, because you went against somebody who did absolutely nothing to you and shunned her from the group just to be friends with them light-skinned heifers who didn't care nothing about you and turned on you as soon as they didn't need you no more, honey. So I don't feel sorry for you at all. So then Andy says to Gizelle, your reaction to what seems hypocritical and the opposite to your reaction to what happened with Monique. And Gizelle was like, what Monique did to Candiace is completely different. Candiace, to me, got beat up. This was a drink toss. The two aren't comparable. Okay. Okay. If it was somebody that you cared about or act like you gave a rat's behind about, oh, it would have been the same thing. But because it's Wendy, somebody you don't care for right now, it's not the same thing at all. This girl threw a drink in her face. That is assault, okay? Then she tried to hit her with her purse, not once, but several times. That is trying to assault somebody. Because if the hits would have landed, what is the difference from when the hits landed on top of Candiace's wig via Monique's hand? There isn't a difference. So you can stop it with your foolishness, neck. So, Andy was like, but wait a minute. You're saying that Chris made you feel a certain way. She felt a certain way. She got a drink thrown in her face. She felt violated. And even Andy looking at her like, Gizelle, really? Really, girl? And Gizelle was like, I don't like her, so it don't matter to me. And Andy was like, well, that wouldn't hold up in court. And I'm like, oh, so because you don't like her, that means that it's not the same thing? Like, get her off my screen. Please get her off my screen. She needs to be demoted too, because you ain't bringing nothing to the show but nonsense. So Wendy decides to get on her soapbox, honey, with the fake tears, trying to make herself cry. Wendy, let me tell you something. Stick to being a professor and a political analyst, because an actress you are not. Did not believe the throat quivering at all. So that doesn't, she was like, that stuff was effed up, and the way it was handled within this group was effed up. I don't F with you. And Gizelle was like, but weren't y'all trying to show each other y'all vaginas afterwards? And I'm like, exactly. I had to agree with Gizelle on that one. Like, you talking about you don't F with her and that you made up with her for the group and for the vacation. Girl, if I don't mess with you, I don't mess with you. And we certainly ain't going to be touching vajayjays and examining vajayjays after you didn't try to assault me. And now you want to get up on this stage acting like you Sojourner Truth. Girl, Wendy, sit down somewhere. Stop. Then the topic of colorism comes up. And Andy was like, Candiace, you said you didn't think your castmates were colorists, but you still felt the conversation needed to be had. Girl, you feel like some of them heifers is colorists. So I don't know, if you don't feel that way, then why are we having this conversation? Like, that's stupid to me, but okay. So Candiace takes the floor and she reads the definition of colorism. And she says that she has the reputation for yelling and crying and being emotional, but Robin has screamed and yelled and put her finger in people's face, and it's not received the same way. Robin was like, yeah, but I've been called a mean girl and aggressive. And Candiace was like, today you've been called that, but not in the past. And Gizelle was like, well, what does you being emotional have to do with colorism? And I'm like, you're the problem, sis. You're the problem. You're the person that we're discussing. It's not the cast that's colorist. I firmly stand on the fact that I don't think that Mia is a colorist. I don't think that Karen is a colorist. I don't even think that Ashley is a colorist. Do I think that Robin and Gizelle are? 100%. 1,000%. The two that didn't have nothing to say or had a rebuttal are the problem. They are the colorists in this group, okay? Not the other ladies. So Karen was like, well, what Candiace is clearly trying to say is that based upon the pigmentation of her skin, but given the same circumstances, she's judged more harshly than Robin or I would have been. And Ashley was like, well, how do we know that's true? And I'm like, Ashley, you're barking up the wrong tree, love. Like, no, that didn't even have to be said. That did not have to be said. She was like, I understand the privilege as a light-skinned woman. I've had issues with everyone in this group. In my opinion, the dynamic of this group isn't based off the color of your skin. And I agree with that. I 100% agree with that. And I low-key understood her questioning because she said out of her mouth, well, how do you know that to be true? Because it could be just people don't like Candiace or don't, like her personality and things that she has to say. And I do think that for me, as a viewer, it has nothing to do with the color of Candiace's skin. I think Candiace is a really pretty girl. I always stayed on her when I think that she looks gorgeous and, all of that type of stuff. It's her personality and attitude and the way that she comes across that makes me not like her. That's for my opinion as a viewer. It has nothing to do whether she's light skinned, dark skinned, none of that. None of that at all. So I understood where Ashley was coming from, but I'm like, in this topic of conversation, I don't know if that was the appropriate thing to say. But Candiace appreciated the fact that she acknowledged, the topic and what was going on and what was being said. So Jacqueline then comes out to play. And this is her first time seeing Mia since they wrapped filming. So Andy asks, how she felt after, filming this season. And Jacqueline says, that she sees someone that wanted to drag her underneath her to elevate herself to be her peasant, talking about Mia. And Mia was like, well, I don't want her to be beneath me. I had a lot going on during filming and I became overwhelmed because of all of the support you needed. And I had my own stuff going on. Girl, you were being a mean girl. You were happy to be the it girl and you was trying to sun her and make her look small. That is what you were trying to do. So Jacqueline makes it known, as far as the whole nanny situation, that she was the one that got her sister to watch Mia's kids because Mia didn't have that type of help from her own family. So she was like, how you sitting up here trying to act like you did me a favor when I was the one that helped you out? So then Andy asked Mia the question, did she feel like she was treated unfairly when she was being taken care of by Jacqueline's family back in the day? And she was like, no, they treated me really, really well. So she can't say that that's the reason why she was being a penis head towards that girl. So baby, next thing we know, they get to pulling out receipts on each other, child. And next week, it's going to be up and stuck, honey. And I'm ready and waiting to see what they got to say. It's going to be a 90-minute part 3. We'll have an hour of the reunion and then the 30-minute sit down with Andy and Robin. Overall, I'm going to give reunion part 2 an A. It was really good. I like part 2 better than I liked part 1, to be honest with you. And I can't wait for next week's episode. Y'all let me know down below in the comment section what y'all thought about part 2 of the reunion. Let's talk down below. Remember to be respectful of others and their opinions. Make sure to thumbs up this video, like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell button. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.